quickly revise what we have done in our previous classes. So we are in the last division of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Here we see that this is just few moments before the fight starts and two armies are facing each other and Arjuna is thinking about the war. What is he thinking? Is it necessary? Senayoru Bayor Matye Ratam Stapaya me Achyuta. He's there. He's almost, he's string his bow and arrow, but suddenly what is he thinking? Is it necessary? Should I really go for this war? Here, what is Arjuna showing? Arjuna is showing his noble characteristics. Is it worth to kill the friends and relatives for material benefits? So this is what Arjuna is thinking. Just because I want to become the king, why should I kill my friends and relatives? Arjuna is using a lot of arguments for not fighting. And what was the first argument Arjuna is posing?
Relatives, gurus.
So we saw there were 4 reasons for Arjuna not to fight.
Yeah.
The first reason is out of compassion.
Out of
Paya
compassion.
paraya vishto. He thought, how can I kill others? I'll be causing harm to others and what pleasure I would get. And second thing is laws of
Nimitani
Nimitani Paritani also we saw in the material world. He thought that I go for some reason, but whatever I'm seeing is just opposite. Generally, the Kshatriyas fight because there will be some benefits out of that war. But here he is seeing everything opposite. So what is the use of such?
Enjoyment.
Yeah, such a fight. And second thing is laws of enjoyment. So without people, we need people to
rule the
kingdom. To enjoy, even if we are celebrating marriage or we are celebrating some birthday parties or anything, we are happy when we are celebrating with our friends and relatives. So Arjuna thinks if they are all gone, whom will I celebrate with? Whom will I enjoy with? So there is laws of enjoyment. And third reason Arjuna is posing is
fear of sinful actions.
Fear of sinful actions. He thought that how can I may incur sin because I might have to kill my grandfather, kill my teacher. So he's asking Krishna, will anybody, if you are called as Madhusudan, you're not called as Sandipana Sudan or Ugrasena Sudan. So why are you involving me in such a activity? And he also addresses Krishna with a unique name called as Janardana. You're the one who give protection to everyone. And why are you making me to cause inauspiciousness? I'm as a Kshatriya, it is my duty. He says, Krishna, it is our duty to protect Dharma. What is Dharma? When somebody asks you what is Dharma, what will you say?
To fulfill your duties, what you are bound to.
Yeah, that is correct. So generally, if you see in English, Dharma is just translated as religion. However, it is just not a religion. It is about the whole set of duties that we have towards God and towards society also. We have two different duties. One is Swadharma, our own duty, because we have a family to take care, and Paradharma, our duty towards the Lord, because our actual constitutional position is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Ultimate Dharma is I am the eternal servant of the Lord and I want to surrender to Lord. When you say yourself a servant, what does a servant does? A servant surrenders to the master.
Lord.
Yeah. So Arjuna here is trying to explain Krishna that we are the protectors of Dharma. And if we become adharmic, what will happen to the society? How can we do such an activity which can increase the adharma? Like in the last reason, we saw that what is Arjuna saying? Destruction of family tradition. So when the family tradition is destroyed, then what will happen to dharma? Dharma also will be destroyed. People will not do the samskaras that are supposed to be done. And in last class, we especially saw about the pollution of the women. What happens if a woman gets polluted? And we also, saw about the chaste woman. What are the qualities of a chaste woman? So if adharma is increasing, how can we be the reason for the adharma to increase? So it is just like, what will happen to the society without police? Imagine.
All disturbance will be there.
Yeah. So we know few years back in LA, there was a power outage for 3 days and 3 nights. This was few years back, maybe, I don't know, some 3-4 years back or what. What happened during that time? Many low-class people, what did they do? They plundered everything. They broke into the shops, they stole, they raped the women, and all such kind of adharmic activity happened because there was no law and order in force. So imagine a society without police and army. Why is it necessary? Because they are protecting the law of the
Citizens,
social order. If without them, there will be a lot of disturbance in the society. So maybe for the rishis in the forest, they don't need police or they don't need, but here in the place where we live, it is very important. We see that the society gets degraded if the Kshatriyas or the leaders, they are not giving protection or if they are not implementing dharma. But who gives us dharma? The Shastra says, Dharma tu sakshat Bhagavat pranita. So this law of dharma is given by the Lord himself. Like state laws, who gives?
the government, the state government.
Government, the constitution, they give. So similarly, the law of dharma is given by the Lord himself. So many things we do not know what is right, what is wrong. For example, cow killing is prohibited in few countries. Universal law. Right? In few countries, it is allowed. So how will you say who is right or who is wrong? In such
The law
case,
of the country.
yeah,
the
law of country is there, but beyond that, there is something called a universal law,
Yeah,
which
our
states
work
that
on
cow killing is sinful because cow gives us milk. Mother gives milk to the child. So we are taking the milk from the child, so she is considered to be mother. If your mother become invalid, she becomes old, she becomes useless, will you kill your mother?
No.
No. So similarly, the cows are supposed to be worshipped as a mother, and it is allowed. So instead, we have to follow the universal law, which says that the cow killing is sinful. Because what we do for yajna, what do we offer? We
Ghee.
offer ghee. And where do we get this ghee from?
from cow.
We get the ghee from the cows, and the bulls are engaged in agriculture. Previously, cows and bulls, they were the one who were supporting the economy. We didn't have a rubber civilization, industrial civilization. Right now, we have a computer chip civilization, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, how was the civilization sustained? It was sustained by agriculture and cow. So even the duty of the Vaishya is Krishi Goraksha Vanityam. Krishi, the first duty is agriculture. Goraksha, the second duty is giving protection to cow. The third duty is Vanijyam, doing business. So everybody was self-sustained. They had their own farm, they had their cow, and they were producing their own grains, they were producing their own milk. And whatever was excess, that was given to others. So the society was living very peacefully. Nothing much to do. You have a place to live and you have food to eat, and you have other times you are involved yourself in listening to Ramayana, you're listening to Mahabharata. So the society, the Vedic society was very peaceful. In our history, if you're talking about Vedic civilization, have you seen that there was a communal fight? Have you ever heard of it? So yes, maybe in the medieval period, the Muslims, they caused some disturbance to the Vedic society. But did you see among the community there was fight? No, people understood their role. They followed the Varnashrama system. And they followed the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, so which made them to live very peacefully. Okay. And what does the Vedas actually say? That if you kill the cow, the number of hairs that the cow has, that many times that person who has consumed the cow will go to hell. So imagine the sinful activity one is committing by consuming a cow. Even if we mistreat the cow, that will also give us a reaction. If cows are not protected, the Shastra says that that will lead to war. Today we see that there is a lot of war going on, like Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. And these people are what? They are all beef eaters.
Yeah.
That's why there is a lot of war and there are a lot of pestilence. So, but Bhagavad Gita, it is talking about a dharmic war. You don't see in Kurukshetra war, did you hear that the women were killed, the children were killed, and bombs were thrown in the residential area? And even in the war, if somebody is unarmed, you cannot even fight with them. It so happened in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Chitraketu was fighting with Indra, and Indra's weapon slipped out of his hand. And Chitraketu gave him some moment. He said, pick up your weapon. And then he fought with him. So that's the way the war is fought. Both of them should be armed. It's not that one person is unarmed and other person takes the opportunity to kill the other
Fight.
person. Today, what is happening? How do we fight? The very fighting
Find
is not
opportunity.
face to
Yeah, which
face. You have to hide yourself in some branches and some holes where others cannot even see you. So the whole society has become adharmic.
Correct.
So that is what Arjuna is thinking, because Arjuna, being a noble soul, he is thinking about the benefit of all the families and everyone. He's thinking what good will come out of the war. If we kill them, there will be chaos to dharma. So this is what Arjuna's thing is. So today we will go to the last section of our 4th division, which is destruction of the family tradition. So in the first week, we saw about the samskaras, and then we saw particularly about what happens if the family women get polluted, and we saw in detail about the chastity of the women. And today we will say when unwanted children are born, what will happen to the society? How will the society, what all the things that would not happen and that would be stopped? So please repeat after me. Shankaro Narakayeva
Shankaro Narakayeva
Kuladhanam Kulasya cha
Kuladhanam Kulastaya cha
Patanti Pitaro Hesham
Patanti Pitaro Hesham
Lupta Pindodaka Kriya
Lupta Pindo Tada Kriya
Shankaro Narakayeva
Shankaro Narakayeva
Kulagnanam Kulasya cha
Kulanyanam Kulasya cha
Patanti Pitaro Hesham
Patanti Pitaro Hansya
Lupta Pindodaka Kriya.
Lupta Pindo Tada Kriya.
Who would like to recite this? Lekha Mataji, would you like to try?
Yeah, I can try. Shankaro Naraka Kaivya
Shankaro Narakayeva
Kaiva
Kulagnanam Kulasya cha
Kulagnanam
Kulyanam
Kulasya
Kulasya
Patanti Pitaro Hyashyam
Patanti Pitaro Haishya
Lupta Pindodaka Kriya
Lupta
Lupta Pindo Tada Kriya.
Shankara, such unwanted children, Narakaya, make for hellish life, Eva, certainly, Kulagnanam, for those who are killers of the family, Pulasya, for the family, Cha, also, Patanti, fall down, Pitara, forefathers, Hai, certainly, Esha, of them, Lupta, stopped, Pinda, of offerings of food, Udaka, and water, Kriya, performances. And an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Purport. According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offerings is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in the subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional service are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in Bhagavatam 11.5.41,
Devashi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam vrinicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukuntam parihritya kartam.
Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. So here we can see that the role of a family woman. A family woman, she has so many obligations. There is a verse that states that Swargapta Kama Moksha Dhare Sampradi Hetava. Dhara means wife. She can help one to be elevated to the heavenly planets. So generally the wife is helping the husband in performing the devotional service and the rituals. And Dharmatma Kama, to become helpful in the matter of in religion and spiritual knowledge. There are 4 Purusharthas. What are the 4 Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So the wife is important. If there is a chaste wife, she can help her husband in all these 4 principles of life. Dhara Samprati. We can train up a nice wife or a society. The society where a girl, a woman is nicely trained, the society becomes very advanced because she can help the man to fulfill these 4 Purusharthas. By doing so, the society will be in an elevated position. Otherwise, if the woman is polluted, what happens? The unwanted children are born. And these unwanted children, what do? According to our Karma Kanda rituals, fruitive activities, we need to offer food and water to the ancestors. The reason here, Prabhupada himself has mentioned that sometimes if that particular person who left the body, if he had been very sinful, that particular person may not even get a gross body. He might remain in the subtle body. We saw that whenever a person dies, the gross body is annihilated, either by burning or by burying, or in some culture like Parsis, what do? They just throw the body for the vultures.
Vultures.
They think, the body is used by something and they just throw it to the vultures. So either it becomes an ash or it becomes a stool, like that. This is how the thing comes. But what happened to the subtle body? What is a subtle body is made up of? Intelligence, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So they will have to remain in this subtle body for a long time without a gross body. They may feel thirsty, but they cannot drink water. They will feel hungry, but they will not have the body to take the food. So for such situation where that particular soul is not attained a proper destination, offering this food and water, it can help that particular soul at least to get a gross body by which he can move on to the next life. Otherwise, he will be somewhere stuck with this subtle body, with the ghostly body. So here we also see that there is a particular verse mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone, like we as a human being, we are indebted to many things. We are indebted to demigods. We are indebted to forefathers, everything. So, but one who is surrendered to Krishna, they don't have any obligation. If you are a devotee of Krishna, just by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and just by doing the devotional service, one can liberate hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. So this is a faith that a devotee should have. The holy name is so powerful. Just by chanting the holy name, just not one or two or three forefathers. Generally, when you're offering pingdam, it is just offered to only up to 3 ancestors. Because in Pitraloka also, in the previous class, we discussed about it. Why we offer food once a year? There is a particular period in the year, Malya Amavas, that time, but Pitrupaksh time, where we are offering the food and water to the forefathers.
Pitraloka 1 year is 1 day for them.
Yeah, that is why. So assuming that they have gone, and even in Pitraloka, only 3 generations can live. So the grandfather, maybe your father, grandfather, and his father. So once the 4th person comes, the other person, they have to come back again to the mortal world because their time period is finished. They cannot live there forever. That's what even in Bhagavadgita it is said that Shine Punye Matyaloke Vishanti. Even if one goes up to the Swargaloka, as long as the piety is there, their pious activity, their punya is there, they will remain there. Once their punya is finished, then they have to come back to the material world. It's just like if you have a particular, if you have saved some amount of Lakshmi, with that money, you're planning a vacation and you're coming back. So for your next vacation, you have to again work for it. Because whatever money you have, you already spent it.
Yes.
We cannot go vacation after vacation. We have to come back and we have to earn again for next vacation. So similarly, yes, you can go to Swargaloka, you can go to Pitraloka, you can go, but all these places are still within the material world and they are temporary. So you have to come. But by following the process of devotional service, how many ancestors you are benefiting? Hundreds and thousands of ancestors you're benefiting. That is a power of the Harinam. So by chanting this, we can deliver so many people. So we see that what happens to that family where there is no husband, and that kingdom where there is no proper king or proper leaders, what happens there? There is a degradation of the women. So when uh, Kali entered the kingdom of Parikshit, he immediately raised his sword to kill him. He did not spare him, or he did not inquire who is he. Seeing the situation, what Kali was doing to the cow, immediately he raised his thing. But then because Kali took the shelter, because anybody who takes the shelter of the king, it is important for the king to give protection. Therefore, he gave just 4 places for Kali to live. What are the 4 places where Kali lives? It is in line with our 4 regulative principles.
Yeah. Where
Honey
there is
and garlic.
intoxication,
Yes.
where there is gambling,
Mhm. Where there is
where meat eating.
illicit, yeah, and where there is meat eating. And one more bonus place he gave him, which is that place
Gold.
where there is gold. Yeah. So these
Where
are the
there is
5
gold.
places where Kali lives. Because what happened when there is lot of gold, the vices increase. Because we see that people are after the gold, because gold is very, very attractive. And so to earn that gold, they do a lot of vices, and they become more greedy, and they become more this thing. So these are the 5 places where Kali was living, is living. That is why we follow the 4 regulative principles. By following that, we can keep Kali at the bay. Yes, we are living in the Kali Yuga, but how can we keep the Kali at bay? By following the 4 regulative principles. So, even 50, 60 years back, Prabhupada mentioned that there was a king in Kashmir, and during his reign, so that was during Prabhupada's 50, 60 years back. So for us, it should be like some 100 years back. So during his reign, if there was even everybody can, if somebody even picks up the gold which is fallen in the street, and if they take that, that particular thief is being punished. So in that particular kingdom, even if your gold stud falls in the street, it will remain as it is. Nobody will take it, because the way the thief was punished was very hard. A small thief, immediately his finger is being cut. A big thief, his hand is cut. And even he is worse or bigger thief, his neck will be cut. So therefore, the people were very scared of the punishment. So they did not do any kind of a stealing work. The thieves were all kept in control. But today, what is happening? The leaders are stealing, the politicians are stealing, ministers are stealing, and where do they have the power to implement the dharma? What does the leader think? Today, the leader, a prime minister or a president, is allowed to rule for 4 to 5 years. And what do they do in these 4 to 5 years? They think how much I can plunder. During this period, what all I can accumulate myself. But who is thinking like Arjuna? Who gives the reason why? Because Arjuna is trained in Vedic culture and Vedic society. What is the main goal of Vedic society?
To establish dharma.
Yeah, dharma, but the main goal is to attain liberation,
Mm.
to obtain moksha. The Vedic, so the Varnashrama system is in line to obtain moksha. Because why the brahmachari, sannyasa, vanaprastha, why brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa, but gradually the person is getting detached.
Yeah.
First, he is giving trained in the brahmacharya ashram, 25 years. He is obtaining, observing strict celibacy. So no intermixing of men and women is allowed during the brahmacharya period. The man is trained to control his senses. And then when he enters the grahastha ashram, he has given some permission to have some sense gratification, but that is also only with his wife, not with any other women, and that too only for obtaining a Krishna conscious children. And then gradually, what does the couple do? They go for vanaprastha. After 50 years, they get detached from the home affairs. They give the responsibility to the children, and they go and visit the places of pilgrimage, and they involve themselves in reading shastras and hearing to kathas and everything. Then at 75 years, the men, they go for complete renunciation. Why? Because that detachment is needed to get out of the material world. If you're remaining so much attached, then where is the chance for us to come out of the clutches of the material world? So gradually the renunciation is being, the Varnashrama system is so nice, and it is a system given by whom? By Krishna himself. Who gave the system for us? Krishna, for a peaceful functioning of the society. And even in the Vedic schools, this is what being taught in the Vedic schools on how to stop the repeated birth and death, how to stop all the problems of life, how to stop the material existence once and for all. So moksha is the goal. Yeah, for devotees, of course, moksha means what? Obtaining bhakti to Krishna, because bhakti is even higher to moksha. They say that if you're a devotee, bhakti stands in the front of the devotee's house by folding the hands. So she is just looking for service. So bhakta is even in a higher position than a person who is obtaining liberation. So this is Vedic culture. What does culture means? External manifestation of your values and beliefs. What do you say culture means? Any country we go, we say it is their culture. What does a culture means? That talks about their values, that talks about their beliefs, that talks about their understanding of life, and that talks about the goal of the life. So this is the culture. So culture is mainly the manifestation of their own values. So the main goal of the life is to become free from the material entanglement. And so these children, they perform all these rituals so that it helps the forefathers and the parents to come out of this material entanglement. So there is a sloka in Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, what Krishna says, Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmana kama krodha tatha lobha tasmat eta trayam tyajet. So there is a royal path to the hell which Krishna has described. What is the royal path to hell? Trividam narakasyedam. There are three types of activity which will pay a royal way to the hell. What are that? Kama, krodha, tatha lobha. Kama means desires. Krodha.
Right, yeah.
Krodha means anger. Lobha means greediness. Even the previous class, we saw one story on the greediness is the father of all the sinful activities. Right. So what happens? So these three things, if a person has, that means where are we heading towards? Royal road towards the hell. But in today, the schools, they don't teach us that we are not the bodies. They don't teach us that we are the souls. In the Darwin's theory, they say that we come from chemicals. They don't say that the life, some chemical reaction happened and some amoeba formed, and gradually there was an evolution happening, and today some of them became humans and other remained in their own species. So even if the evolution is true, if the species managed to go to the higher level, then the lower level species should not exist. But why are they also simultaneously existing? So these are the flaws of the modern science. And they don't teach about reincarnation. They don't tell that, you come back again. So this is a complete ignorance. Rather, you're being taught that the life is short. So let's enjoy. Do whatever you want. Just follow your heart. Do whatever you like. Who follows the heart and do whatever they like? Then if we just want to follow the heart, then why do we have head? Why do we have some brain? Animals, they follow their instinct. They don't have the brain to think what will happen to next. But if we are also acting in same way, then what is the difference between the humans and animals? No philosophy, no culture. What is the cultured man does? A cultured man worships the God. And what are these four regulative principles? What do? They don't make us a devotee. They only make us the humans. Because without following these four regulative principles, there is no question of God realization. Okay. How can you realize God when you're not following these four regulative principles? So we need to understand that we are the servants of the Lord, or at least we are aspiring to become the servants of the Lord. And that is the aim of the Vedic culture. The whole life is intertwined in such a way to obtain that spiritual goal. Veda says what? Rise early in the morning. Why are we supposed to rise early in the morning?
The consciousness will be at peak.
Yeah, our mind is acting in a very peaceful way. During
It's a
the day, we
sattva
see that, yeah, sattva gun, mind is more peaceful. So it is more conducive for us to connect ourselves with Krishna in the japa. During the day, yes, we take sankalpa, whatever rounds we are doing, 16 or 8 or 4 or whatever we want to do, we manage to do. But our mind is so agitated. Every mantra we say that we think, okay, what should I do next? What is here for me? But when you try to chant early in the morning, you would see that there is definitely a better absorption in chanting. So yeah, nowadays we give many reasons. There are 5 a.m. club and everything. They give many reasons, like getting up early can give you good health, good for digestion, it's good for your blood pressure, like that. But these are only the side effects. The main effect is to connect yourself with the Supreme Lord. Dhyayat Bhagavat Rupam. You can meditate on the transcendental form of the God peacefully in Sattva Guna, not in Rajoguna. That is the main reason. And today what happens? People, we say ourselves, we are from India, we know, but we actually do not know anything. So it so happened that, a Delhi couple, they took a foreigner to Vrindavan temple. So after the temple in the Kirtan, in ISKCON, we do something called Premadhvani, where we pay obeisances to all the acharyas and dham. So everybody bows down. And he's a foreigner. He doesn't know anything. What is the reason that we are all bowing down? And when asked why you're doing that, these couple, they are just here to show they have no knowledge. They said it's just a good exercise. For everything today, we are trying to give scientific reason. But the actual reason is what? Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, to please Krishna. Whatever activities we do, it is to please Krishna. Even the Varnashrama system, every stage of the ashrama and Varna, we do the work so that Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, to please the Krishna. So if we want to worship the purest one, Krishna is the purest one. So we need to be pure ourselves. How can you get contact with the pure when we are impure? So that is why we wake up early in the morning, we shower ourselves, we offer Mangalarti, then we do the prayers because we are trying to approach the pure by being pure. Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that there is no rules and regulations. You can chant anytime. You can chant without bathing. You can chant anything. But when somebody becomes a devotee, slowly, the realization comes and he will automatically starts becoming pure. Maybe the initial stage one may chant that way, but the more you get realized, you become pure. So, and what happens? A Krishna conscious devotee, we respect every living being by understanding that everyone is the children of the God, and we don't kill animals and we don't even kill the plants. Yet, but sometimes because we need to sustain, so we kill the plants, means we take the grains or we take the fruits. But we are asking forgiveness to the God by offering to God. That is why we need to offer the bhoga. Even though we are eating a vegetarian food, even that involves some sinful activity, because plants are also living entity. They also have consciousness, but their consciousness is in a very lower level. Yes, Krishna allowed us to eat because every jiva has to depend on something else for our sustenance. But to sanctify that food, we need to offer it to Krishna. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Krishna says, offer me patram, leaf, pushpam, flower,
Glass.
patram, pushpam, flowers, phalam, fruit, toyam, water. So these are the four things Krishna himself asked us to offer. If Krishna is eating something else, he would have told that also. He only said these four things. He did not say anything more than these four things. If Krishna is eating animals, he would have said that offer me whatever you want. He didn't say that. He specifically mentioned these four items. So by offering the food to Krishna, that food that we eat, it becomes purified. So we see that in Vedic culture, everything makes sense. Whatever we do, it becomes meaningful, and everything is meant for self-realization. Even before the living entity is born, what samskara is performed? Garbhadhana samskara. And then Simandaka samskara. These two samskaras are performed even before the child comes to the material world. And Garbhadhana is done even before the conception. At least Simanda is done during the period of the pregnancy. And then other thing, Namakarna, and then piercing the ears, Karnadara, Chudakarna, and then Anna Pradakshana, and then Upanayana, and then Vivaha ceremony, and then Anteshti ceremony. So all these things are meant for what? For our purification. So today, nobody knows anything. We send our children to abroad to study. The Indian parents send the children to UK or US to study. And when the child is some 27, 28 years, they wanted the child, if it a Brahmana family, to have the thread, to put the Upanayana thread. And this particular person has absolutely no knowledge about any of the rituals. He just thinks that everything is superstitious, because he is just a Brahmana by birth, not Brahmana by quality. Because why they have to give the thread to that son? Because when he has to perform the homam, he wants to perform the yajna, he needs the thread to perform that. When he gets married, he needs the thread to perform the ritual. So somehow they are convincing. Parents are sitting down with the pujari, and that boy is standing, and he's wearing jeans, and he's wearing some t-shirt and putting his hand in the pocket. And the mother is telling, please come and sit. And he sits, and the Prohit is saying, remove the shirt. He said, no, 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 I don't want to remove the shirt. I cannot remove the shirt, he says. And then he doesn't believe in anything. Then the mother says, see, we are Brahmanas. We are supposed to do. And he says, oh, what does it matter? Nothing matters to me. These things, you're just, having your own stuffs, they say. And then somehow the mother convinced, for my sake, at least, put the thread. Maybe the son says, okay, I may not remove the shirt. And what does the Prohit does? Because he's getting the money, he also put the thread on top of the shirt. So this is how it is. So we see that everything is degraded. Yes, this is not only Varna Shankara because of unwanted population. Even if we are not following the proper samskaras and proper rituals, and if we are not giving our samskaras to the children, then they also becomes Varna Shankara, because they do not know what to do. They don't understand what is a Varnashrama system. In modern society, the Varna Shankara is like hippies. They do not know anything. So, Putra Pinda Prayojana. So why does the parent go for a child, the couple? Because the Putra Pinda Priyojanam. The son offers the Shraddh to the parents. After the parent leaves, the son offers the food and water to the parents. But in modern civilization, what happens? The day the women are becoming pregnant, just like a cat and dog, even before getting married. So what is the duty of the husband? What is the duty of the wife? How to treat the parents? How to treat the guest? All these things is elaborately explained in the Vedic society to have a high class population which is aimed at liberation. Today, we as a parents think that we have to give best education to our children. And what is education? The modern education is only the means to earn
Survive, yeah, that's
money.
it.
Money, that's all. No knowledge of God, no knowledge of karma, no knowledge of moksha, no knowledge of why should we be good to others, no knowledge of how to develop the good character, nothing. Just the aim of the life is to obtain a job and to earn money. But Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, there are 20 objects of knowledge which is given by Krishna, starting from amanitvam, adhambitvam, ahimsa, shantir arjavam, acharya masanam saucham, stairyam atma vibhagasha. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of the birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness of pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna, aspiring to live in the solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be, it is ignorance. That is what Krishna says. So in this 20 objects of knowledge, is anything is being taught today in the schools? Not a single thing is taught. So what is the degree of such a, what is the use when that person get graduated or post-graduated or getting PhD? What is the use of such education? So PhD probably does a person permanent head damage, PhD. So here we can see that practically in the Krishna conscious movement, the people who are doing devotion, we see that the husband becomes a better husband, the wife becomes a better wife, and they become a better neighbors, and the children become better. So we are practically seeing that, correct? Are we not seeing the difference between the devotees and the other karmic people? So this is what Arjuna is worried about. The aim is moksha. If we kill the Kshatriya, he feels that the dharma will be messed up. The population will be destroyed and low-class people will be born. And people will not offer pinda. Even their forefathers, they will fall down to hell. By not getting food and water, they will fall down to hell. It's really a big disaster. He has a broader picture. He can see through all the things. Arjuna could, everything, he could understand what all the things that are going to happen. Okay. So can we go to the next sloka? Any question in this particular sloka before we move on?
Yeah, I have a question, Danja Mataji.
Yeah.
About this, the Pindadan that we are talking about.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
we say that, okay, this we chanting
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so
Mhm.
that way we can deliver like
Yeah,
all
hundreds
our
of thousands of
forefathers.
forefathers. So for devotees, it is not mandatory to offer the pinda. But if you're not a devotee, you have to at least offer this. It's mandatory for the people who are not in devotion, at least to offer food and water so that the forefathers can be delivered from the whatever the condition they are. It just helps them to relieve their sufferings.
Exactly, yeah. So even if a devotee who performs this Pindadana, there is no problem, right? So
There
doing
is
like
no
that.
problem, but generally it is not needed. Because it is just in a pure devotee, Anya Bilashita Shunyam, Vyana Karma Dhyanavritam. He is very much, having faith in the holy name. He
That is
follows
true.
the footsteps of the Acharya. He has a full faith that the devotional service alone can deliver so many people. Whereas probably what a devotee does, he feeds the Vaishnavas. That can be done. They can be fed with the Vishnu Prashadam. One day in the temple, in the observance of the day of the disappearance
Forefathers.
forefathers, you can offer prashadam to 10 brahmacharis, 50 brahmacharis, 100 brahmacharis, whatever your capacity is. In that way, both are fulfilled. You also feel that you have done something, and there is a devotional service also involved in that.
Yes.
So that is a better way of doing. This is again, one has to have the faith in the holy name. The holy name alone can deliver the people. So this is what in one of the class I was hearing from one of the Prabhuji who is a foreigner by birth. And he was saying that some of the other people, they were not, believing even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the God. They thought he is not Krishna. Where is the proof? Yes, there are so many proof. Even in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that Krishna Varnam, Tvesha Krishnam, Sango Pashanam. It is said that he will come in a different form. But the Pratyaksha Praman, the actual proof of the Sankirtan movement is, he said that Mlechas and Yavanas like us, we have become devotee. We have come out of all our bad habits. What more proof you want? Have you not seen that people in a very low class background, when they become a devotee, how powerful is the Sankirtan movement? So this was also in another class by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, I heard. One of the devotee was asking a question. We understand a pure devotee, can deliver the forefathers like Prahlad. He could deliver his forefathers, 21 generations above and below. But we are only sadhakas. We are not at a pure devotee. We are trying to be a devotee by chanting. We are still in construction, right? In making. Our building is not done. So a lot of mess here and there. When the construction of the building happens, how is the building? With full of mess here and there. So even though we are doing devotion, our mind is not still in that, with a very pure consciousness. Somewhere or the other things are cluttered. But still we are in the process. One day the construction will get over. So by keep on practicing, we will get to that perfection. So he was telling that one of the devotee, his mother is an American and she's a Pakka American, going to kitty party and other things. So son was following devotional service, but she never cared to do anything what her son was doing. And just before her death, she asked him, "Is your Krishna here?" What does Shastra says? Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. So in the last minute, the name Krishna came to her. She did not do anything. Throughout her life, she was just enjoying going to the kitty party. But she had a son who was a devotee. And because of that, she could remember Krishna during the time of her death. So that's what we need to have, that kind of a faith in the holy name. The holy name can deliver many, many forefathers and the future generations to come also. The other rituals can alleviate us from little bit of the material pangs, but they are not the permanent solution. But at least that much is needed. Even if that is lost, there will be more chaos. Is it understandable, Mataji? Here, two class of people is spoken. One is a general class of people who are supposed to offer the pinda and udaka, food and water, and the devotees who are in a different level where their devotional service itself can deliver so many forefathers. The best way we can do is offer prashadam, service to the brahmacharis. That could be the best way that we can commemorate their anniversary or their this one. Okay, Mataji. So let's go to the next sloka here.
Sure.
Doshirete kulagnana
Nam
na shankara karakai
Varna Shankara Karyakai
yadante jati dharma
Utyadyante Jati Dharma
dharmasya shashvata
Kula Dharmasya Shashvata
Doshairete kulagnana
Doshirite Kulajnana
na shankara karakai
Varna Shankara Karakai
yadante jati dharma
Utyadyante Jati Dharma
dharma shashvata.
Kula Dharma Shashvata.
Would like to recite this verse?
I'll do.
Anybody? Yes.
Dosher ete kula grahanam.
Doshairete kulagnana
Varna sankara karakaiha.
varna
Varna
shankara
Shankara
karakai
Karakai
Utsaghante jati dharmaha.
Utsahyante Jati Dharma
Kul dharmascha shashvataha.
Kula
Kuladharma
Dharma Shashvata
Doshe by such faults. Iteha all these. Kula gahanam of the destroyers of the family. Varna Shankara of unwanted children. Karakaya which are causes. Karakaya which are causes. Utsadayante are devastated. Jati Dharmaha community projects. Kula Dharmaha family traditions. Cha also Shashvataha eternal. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Purport: community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of the Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society. And consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos.
Yeah. So we can see that what happens, all the community projects of the four orders are destroyed. So we have the four orders, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And each orders, they have a particular role to be played. Jati Dharma, they have a particular role to play. And if they are not playing that role, today, is it so easy for us to make a demarcation who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya, and who is a Shudra? Are we
No,
even
Mataji.
able to make a proper demarcation? No. Everybody, basically, even a leader is also behaving like a Shudra only. He has no knowledge about the self-realization. He has no knowledge about anything. Everybody is basically behaving like a Shudra. So what happens is, in Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, there is a sloka which is mentioned that Dure Hari Katha Keshi, Dure Achyuta Kirtana. We must admit that we have created hellish condition of society by producing unwanted children and disobeying the Jati Dharma or Kula Dharma. Thus, one has to admit everyone. So now we know that there is already all these things are being lost. There is only one remedy. Tyaktva sadharmam karanambujam hare. Swadharma means jati dharma. So I may be born in a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. So I have a Swadharma because of the order that you are born or according to your guna. A Kshatriya or a Brahmana's duty for the mankind, he has an innumerable duty. What is the role of Brahmana? Why he is called Brahmana? Brahma Janati Brahmana.
Fair
Because
knowledge.
he understands who is a Brahmana. A Kshatriya means one who gives protection from getting injured. So they have a bigger role in the society. So every man is duty bound, not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, demigods, but also to be the great philosophers, poets, scientists. So it is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender to the service of the Lord. So if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service to the Lord, then all will be good. So what is the only remedy for this is surrender to Krishna.
Hare
It so happens sometimes that one surrender himself to the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment. Sometimes when we are undergoing some problem in their life, what do we do? What do generally people do when you're going through some difficult situations?
We pray.
Go to the temple and they try to surrender. But in the long run, due to many other reasons, he may fall down from the path of undesirable associations. Even though they may take up the devotional service, but we see that sometimes a fall down is also happening. There are many instances in the history. For example, Bharat Maharaj. What happened to Bharat Maharaj? He got attached to a
Deer,
tree.
right?
Because of that, he has to take a life again as a deer. And then what happened to Chitraketu? Chitraketu, because he committed an offense to Lord Shiva, so he also had to become a demon. So these are all the instances that we see in Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, that Parvati was sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva and a group of sages were in the assembly and Chitraketu was laughing at Lord Shiva. What kind of person? You don't have any etiquette. In front of the sages, you're keeping your wife in the lap and sitting. And Parvati got very angry at this and she cursed him to become a demon. So this is what we see. Even Ajamila, we knew that he was a devotee initially, and then he saw the intimate relation of Shudrani, and by seeing that, he got attracted to her, and he put all his wife, he threw away his parents and wife from the home. He married her, and he had 10 children with her, and he did a lot of sinful activity to maintain the family. But finally, because his last son's name was Narayana, the power of the holy name, he was being delivered. There is a book called Second Chance. It's a very beautiful book that one should read so that one can develop the faith in the holy name. So, but what happens is the devotional service is so very potent that it, even if one has taken, if there is some fall down, but again in due course of time, you will be revived back. So there's another sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that as a fire burns the dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. So the only remedy for all these things is what? Chanting the holy names of
Hare
Krishna can burn away all the sinful reactions. You may have a knowledge or you may not have the knowledge. Sometimes we are taking the medicine and we do not know how the medicine acts on us. Not sometimes, most of the time. Doctor prescribes a medicine. Do you know the pharmacology of the medicine? How does the medicine act on your body?
No.
You don't know, but you are accepting the medicine with faith.
Faith.
So because you're accepting that medicine with the faith, what happens to your disease, your sickness? It goes away. Even though you may not know the property of the medicine, but because the medicine has its power, so is the holy name. The holy name is powerful, even if somebody might chant unknowingly. Even this so happened, I don't know, some of you must be knowing, there was a movie called there was a song, no, Dammarudam, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, where they were showing the Hare Krishna devotees to be like drug addicts, drinking, smoking, and they are chanting.
Yes, Mataji.
What was the name of the movie? I'm not able to collect, but I think that song was very famous. So what happened that time, some of the devotees, Prabhupada disciples, they were very much, feeling bad the way the movie was taken. Yes, they were hippies, they were drug addicts, but after they chanted the holy names, they were no more involved in such vices. A devotee does not drink alcohol. A devotee does not take a drug. But in that movie, it is just depicted that a devotee, they are just singing, they are dancing, they are hippies and smoking and eating ganja and also chanting. So, they showed Hare Krishna movement in a very weird way, in a very bad way. And then, they went and told Prabhupada, we need to do something about it. This is not correct, what they are doing. Prabhupada said, let it be. The other things will go and Hare Krishna, Hare Rama mantra will stay. So after few years, 1 year, that Dhammarudam, that word went off, or only Hare Krishna remained. And people were just murmuring Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So the holy name is so powerful. Even if somebody were writing critic about the Hare Krishna movement in the newspaper, and devotees, they go to Prabhupada and say that, Prabhupada, see what all the things they are writing about us. Prabhupada will just ask them one question. How many times the Krishna name is mentioned? They say, okay, it is mentioned 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. He says, then it is done. Then as long as Krishna's name is mentioned, he was not bothered. Whether you write a critic or whether you take a bad movie about it, because the holy name was so powerful. The Prabhupada himself, how did he go to the West in the strength of the holy name? He did not have anything with him. He hardly carried 40 rupees, which hardly had any exchange value in America. But the holy name was so powerful that within a year, Prabhupada could establish his International Society of Krishna Conscious Movements. And during 10 years of Prabhupada's life, he could establish 108 temples. So,
ISKCON temples.
yeah, this is the power of the holy name. So we know that fire will act regardless of whether handled by an innocent child or someone well aware of the power. For example, the child touches the fire. The child is not aware that the fire will burn the child. So does the fire spare the child?
No.
For example, even if a field of straw or dry grass is set fire, either by an elderly man or by a child, doesn't matter who sets the fire, but everything will burn into ashes. So similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful activities. So the only remedy for all these things is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So by taking the reading of the Shastras, Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and by accepting the Prasadam, one can get purified by himself. You don't have to worry if your children will offer you food or water, but you can deliver yourself by the holy name. And you can deliver your forefathers and your future generations. So this is the power of the Harinam. Again, here the Varnashrama Dharma is spoken, but we spoke a lot about Varnashrama Dharma previously in the classes, so I did not go much in detail with this. So all we know is the children we know today, they are very selfish. They do not worry about anything. They do not care to do some charity or to provide for the less fortunate or anything. We see that today's society is becoming more and more self-centered. More and more. You see anybody, even you walk in the road, you go in the train, you go in the bus, you go in any public places, everybody is in their own world. what world? In their own mobile world with their phones, earphones or headphones. They absolutely have no knowledge of what is happening around the world and around them. So this, we see that as the Kali is advancing, we see that the internet, it has totally, it has its own part to cause lot of damage to our society. Yeah. Okay, so with this, we will stop today's class. There are few more classes, few more slokas, which is again on the same lines. So Krishna willing, most likely we will finish the chapter 1 by next week. And then we will start with the chapter 2. So there are hardly 3-4 slokas remaining, and more or less they are talking on the same matter. And it's like summarizing whatever Arjuna spoke to Krishna. And he will finally put his bow down and say that, Krishna, I am not going to fight. After all the arguments that he makes, and after all the reasoning, he will say, so that we will do in the following class. And then the actual teaching of Bhagavad Gita starts from chapter 2. So chapter 1 is more or less like an introduction, but by the mercy of Prabhupada and his purport, chapter 1 itself, we could understand lot of things about devotional service. Because Prabhupada thought if somebody is not doing the second chapter or third chapter, even if somebody is taking Bhagavad Gita and just read the first chapter, everywhere Prabhupada has mentioned devotional service, devotional service. But actually, the devotional service is only from chapter 7 to 12. Bhagavad Gita has 3 parts. The first 6 chapters deal about karma, yoga, and the last 6 deals about jnana yoga. And then only the middle 6 chapters speak about bhakti yoga. But Prabhupada has brought bhakti yoga throughout all the chapters, because that is the most topmost thing, and that is the only remedy that can help us to come out of all the clutches of this material world, and that can simply deliver us. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, the Mahamantra is very powerful. Sevon mukohi jigwaho. So with the tongue, we are controlling the senses by accepting the only Krishna Prasadam, not Krishna Prasadam sometimes, only Krishna Prasadam, and tongue is used only to glorify Krishna. If these 2 activities are done, Shastras and Prabhupada has assured that one will certainly go back to Krishna, back to Godhead. There is absolutely no doubt in it. Like in mathematics, if you're doing the steps properly, is there any question of attaining proper result? Has it ever happened that you have done all your steps correctly, finally your result was wrong? Never happened so, right? So similarly, in devotional service, when we are following the rules and regulations as prescribed by our acharyas, when we follow, then definitely the result will be positive. But one should have that submissiveness to listen to the acharyas. Books are available everywhere. Why do we send the children to the school? So similarly, yes, we have texts like Bhagavad Gita, we have texts like Bhagavatam, we have texts. Yes, you can read, at least one should read. But to go back to Krishna, don't you think that you need some guidance?
Yes.
People say, I have my own way of praying. I pray from my heart. But is it bona fide? If a person says A plus B square is A square plus B square plus 2AB, he's hearing from a bona fide source. So he's accepting that formula, right? So similarly, this devotional service is also bona fide, and one should accept the formula given by the Acharya.
Guru.
So one has to follow the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. They are the GPS of our life. You can write it down. What are the GPS of our life? Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So as long as we are following these 3 things, then we are definitely in the right path in the society. No matter the society is degraded, but we can remain in the right path, like a lotus. A lotus in the dirty pond, is it affected by the surroundings?
No.
Not yet.
So similarly, a devotee is like that. Yes, we are living in Kali Yuga. We are living in the midst of the people who are almost like Varna Shankaras, who do not follow anything. But we have to be very strict by following. And even when we follow, our children follow, some of our relatives follow. And then slowly, the changes will happen. Even a small change can make a big difference in the society. Even if Prabhupada said, even if I could deliver one soul back to Krishna, I consider my mission to be successful. So that was Prabhupada's mission. Even if we can make change in one soul's life, one person's life, even that is the greatest welfare you're doing, because everybody is Krishna's children. And you're helping Krishna to reclaim his children. You're becoming an instrument. Even in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was not fighting, Krishna later on in the 11th chapter, he shows to Arjuna, I already killed everyone. You don't have to kill. You're just becoming an instrument. So Shastras are there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is there, which can reclaim all the fallen souls. But what are we becoming? We are only becoming the instruments. And each and every one of us should engage ourselves in some service to Krishna. At least whatever the ability we can, by preaching about Krishna consciousness to your near or dear ones, or by doing some book distribution, or going to temple, do some flower seva, do some cooking, do some chopping the vegetables, right? We can all have, everybody has at least one unique talent, which we can use it in the Krishna service. At least once in a month, each and everybody should try to engage ourselves in the service of Krishna by going to the temple, by connecting ourselves to the Lord, because Archa Vigraha is non-different from the Lord. Krishna is so merciful that he has accepted as Archa Vigraha, so that with our blunt material senses, we can see him and we can offer our service to him. Because Prabhupada said, somebody asked, do you see Krishna? He says, you don't see Krishna? Prabhupada could see Krishna everywhere because he is a pure devotee. But we are not in that thing. So therefore, we accept the Archa Vigraha and we offer the devotional service to the God, because we need a medium to offer the service. And Krishna is mercifully accepting all those services that we are rendering to him. Okay, so this is one thing, the knowledge we have. And next thing is, how do we apply this knowledge in our practical life? So that is what we are seeing in our classes. Yes, Krishna is saying many things, but we should also know how do we implement this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life, so that we become successful in what? In going back home, back to Godhead. What is the goal of our life? Back to Godhead. Yeah. Or some of them just want to know what is Bhagavad Gita. I don't want to go back to Godhead. I know one person, one of little old uncle. I was trying to, tell him, to attend our classes. We have regular Bhagavad Gita classes. I was telling uncle, you want permanent happiness. Aap kahan jayenge after you leave your body? He said, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to be like this forever. I don't want to go anywhere. Some people are afraid of going back to Godhead. They say they don't want to go. They explicitly say that they don't want to go. They think, if they go, they will miss their family and their thing. But once you're done, you're cutting off totally. Next life, where you will go, who knows? At least earlier, there was some family connections that they were offering some pinda and udaka, something, so that they could get delivered. Today, there is no guarantee that they will offer that also. In the current society, Mataji, is there any guarantee that the children will do all these rituals? Very few know, Mataji. Absolutely. We cannot even expect them to do that, because they don't have faith in anything today. They think, these are just rituals. Like one of the, in Prabhupada said in one of his classes, one of the scientists in Calcutta is a very renowned scientist, and he challenged about this Pindanudaka. You offer the food and water down, and I will be up. Let me see how I am getting the food and water. So he is mocking it basically, that you're just offering food and water and they are somewhere else. Where are they going to get? But there are many ways of eating. Eating is just one way. There are many ways of eating. Like a few years back, Mataji, 20, 30 years back, if you see that I can transfer the money through the phone, will anybody accept that?
No.
No.
Earlier, transferring money means what?
That is-
Just taking money, taking 10,000 rupees and giving it to others. That is what the money transfer. Today, in the subtle way, I can send money to Lekha
Digitally.
Mataji if she wants. She is in Houston and we are in Mumbai, and we can do that. But 30 years before, had we said that I will send electronically or I will just send, will anybody would have believed it? They wouldn't have
No.
believed it. If you have said that, okay, you can see each other face to face and you can talk, will anybody believe that?
No.
You are
No.
in India, somebody is in Japan, somebody is in US, and you can see each other. Will anybody believe this? What nonsense are you talking?
Yeah.
Right? So these things we see today. So why can't we believe when the Shastra says that we are offering Pinda and Udaka and that is being given to the ancestors? So
Yeah.
we should have belief in that also.
Mm.
So this is how it is. We need to have the faith in the Shastras. We need to have faith in the thing. Once we have the faith, because these are all scientific. Foolish men challenge on everything. Even for somebody to inquire, tat viti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. The way to acquire the knowledge is to approach a spiritual master. In what mood? In a humble mood and in the way to serve. You should ask not in a challenging mode, because Shastra is only taken by that person who is humble. That's what Krishna said. The first knowledge is amanitvam. Humility is very important for a human being. Without humility, one cannot acquire the knowledge. This is very important. Okay, Mataji, any other questions?
Mataji, how do you define Sanatana Dharma?
Sanatana Dharma is eternal religion, Mataji. There is no beginning, there is end. That Dharma which is given by the Lord himself. Even Varnashrama Dharma is in a way Sanatana Dharma, because it is a way of living given by Krishna himself. So it is also a Sanatana Dharma, because this is a way of living. And Sanatana, the Sanatana means eternal, always exists. It has no period. If you ask how old is Sanatana Dharma, the very word Sanatana does not have any significance. The word Sanatana means eternal. So this Varnashrama system is also a Sanatana Dharma, which is given by Krishna himself for our gradual purification. Not everybody cannot go in a step by step. So some allowance is given for the living entity to engage in the family life also, but only for 25 years, not throughout your life. And after that, that person should get detached. Today, we see that people are working in 60 years, 70 years as a consultants. They do not know what to do once they are retired from work. But is it a right thing? No. You have to learn Shastras. You should think, where will I go after I die? We are not cats and dogs who do not care. Because the education system is so designed in such a way that we are not being allowed to think that way. We are just taught, do whatever you like, do whatever your heart says. You don't have to follow any scripture. So, will the teacher say mathematics, do any step you want? If you get the answer, I will give you marks. Will she give you? Sometimes the child has a crooked method of getting an answer. It can work in entrance exams where you have the MCQs. But if it is a written paper, the answer alone does not carry all the mark. You have marks for steps also. Sometimes the child gets answer by some crooked method. Some shortcut method. But the steps. So does the teacher say, do whatever you want? If you get the answer, you're done?
No.
No. There you're not expecting some discipline. There you're not expecting, and this is the highest thing. time immemorial, millions and trillions of lifetimes, we had been in different forms of body. And after million and trillion lifetimes, one get a human form of life. And after getting a human form of life, after millions and trillions of lifetimes, one comes into devotion. So you are coming to devotion. It is just not an ordinary thing. We have been chosen by Krishna. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatmasu durlabha. Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante, after many lifetimes, jnanavan mam prapadyate, the one with knowledge obtains me. What is that knowledge? Vasudeva sarvamiti. The Vasudeva is everything. Sa mahatmasu durlabha. Such a soul is very rare. That's what we can see. If you're taking the entire world population, the number of devotee population may be 1% or 2%. And that too, we have 1% population because of Srila Prabhupada, because of extensive preaching of our Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam knowledge. Otherwise, Mataji, if we don't have this English, if we have to read from our local language, what will you understand? How will you know? How do you use Bhagavad Gita in your day-to-day life? My mother gifted me one Bhagavad Gita. I don't know who was that, which was that edition. But she always says a particular period that I should read Bhagavad Gita. You know, and I was reading little bit here and there, tuta futa, little bit, because I knew the Sanskrit. At least I tried to manage to read the slokas, but I did not understand anything. I did not understand a single line of Bhagavad Gita from that.
What's the purpose then? At least we should understand
That's
also.
what. Now with Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, we see in the very first chapter,
Yeah.
not even the actual Bhagavad Gita teaching started, but through his purport, Prabhupada has given us abundant knowledge. Because of this knowledge, now most of you are doing already 16 rounds. It's not that you waited until the 18th chapter is over and you became a devotee. You all became a devotee right in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So what is the potency? Who is the potency is coming from whom? From the Prabhupada and from Krishna, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How can one become a devotee of Krishna? Dedicating the life just by reading first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That's what Prabhupada said. There are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita. They are all bogus edition. Not a single person became a devotee of Krishna. Then what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Who is the author of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna. When Krishna says that aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvita. He says that I am the source of everything, both material and spiritual. He himself says I, and we are denying I. What sense does it make? Matta parataram nanyat kinchinasti dhananjaya. There's nothing more greater than me. Then who is he talking about? He's talking in plural, all the living entity, we are God. No, Krishna is the God. We are also the part and parcel of the God. We are qualitatively one, but quantitatively we are different. So one should become a devotee of Krishna. That's what Krishna says. Bhaktosi me sakacheti. Arjuna also heard Bhagavad Gita. Dhritarashtra also heard Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya is narrating everything to whom? To Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra, yeah.
So
Correct,
that means
correct.
Dhritarashtra is also hearing Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Arjuna is also hearing Bhagavad Gita. But one became a devotee and another person could not become a devotee. So this is a difference. The source from which we hear and the people with whom we associate. But later on, by the influence of Vidura, Dhritarashtra finally gave up everything. When he has nothing to lose, when he lost everything, Dhritarashtra also went for self-realization, finally. But we also see Neha Bikramanasosti somewhere, because Dhritarashtra heard Bhagavad Gita, whether he believed it or not believed it. Later on, just before leaving his life, he could come to the point of self-realization. So that is important. We should give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to everyone, whether they believe it or not believe it. Just by reading even a single line, Prabhupada said that the seed of devotion is given in one lifetime, they will become a devotee. Even a small book of Prabhupada, if somebody is taking, for sure they will become a devotee of Krishna in some lifetime. So this should be our endeavor. How do we give this Krishna consciousness to everyone? Because Krishna says, Nachatasman Manusheshu Kashinyati Kritama. There's nobody more dear to me than the one who spreads my glories to everyone. So this is a wish of Krishna himself. He is telling us to spread his glories. So by doing this activity of giving Krishna consciousness to others, definitely your Krishna consciousness will become more strong. You will become more stronger in your sadhanas and your own faith in Krishna will increase. You are going to benefit yourself the most by giving Krishna consciousness to others. Please keep trying, Mataji, wherever you are, whether they have belief or not. Someday they might become a devotee. All the Westerners, they didn't even know who Krishna is. And today they are all very grateful, very great sannyasis, living such an austere life, giving commentary on Rama and commentary on everything. How can they do that? My Guru Maharaj, he is from UK, born in a Western culture. He has given a series of talk on Vishnu Sahasranama. Each and every 1,000 name, he has given an elaborate explanation because every name is glorifying Krishna. Even in our home, if we call our child with different name, that is describing some attribute of your child. Some liking you have that name, so you call the child with that pet name. So when Krishna is given thousands names, that means each and every name has some significance. Why he is called with that name? Each and every name, Mataji, he has given a commentary. Maharaj did for 12 years or 10 years. He was giving commentary. Just 6 months back or 4 months back, he finished giving all his commentary. I'll share that app, the Vishnu Sahasranamam is there. We can hear all those things, you know. By hearing the glories of Krishna, we'll be highly benefited. So we can understand he has given more than 7,000 classes. But from what background he was? Right? So this is the power of the holy name. Okay, Mataji. So any other questions? Should we stop the class? We'll do the Narsimha prayers. Any questions, Mataji, regarding today's class or regarding the any questions?
Mataji, in the start, you had sent the recording of first 10 text from the chapter 1.
Yeah, I will send
Yes.
everything. Correct.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I will do that. Yes, Lekha Mataji was also saying. So what I will do, Krishna willing, should I send the entire chapter?
Mataji,
Or
if
you want in
there's a
brief?
problem, you could have sent the 10, just like before you had sent 10.
Okay. So I'll do 10 chanting. So you can all try to also pronounce it properly.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Who would like to try Namaste Narsimhaya? We want everyone to participate. Somebody who has not participated in the class yet, would you like to try? Shilpa Mataji, would you like to try?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Namaste
Narasimhaya
Namaste
Narasimhaya
Praladadadadadai
हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः चिलतङ्कानखानायै
Hiranyashi Purvashaka Hilatankanakalaye
ito नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह
Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह
Yato Yami Tato Narsimha
बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंह
Bahi Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye.
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapati
Tava Karakamalavarii Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Bringam Keshavadurta Narihariruta Jai Jagadish Hari Jai Jagadish Hari Jai Jagadish Hari
Avakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Naravari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. विघ्न विनाशक नरसिम्हा भगवान की जय भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय भगवद गीता as it is की जय. Actually, we pray Lord Ganesha to remove our material obstacles. So similarly, we pray Lord Narsimha to remove all the obstacles that come along in the path of bhakti. Even in the path of bhakti, sometimes we face some obstacles. Sometimes we find difficult to chant. Sometimes we find difficult to hear, read. So we pray to Narsimha to give protection to our bhakti. Like how Ganesha removes all our material obstacles. So let's pray Narsimha to remove all our obstacles in the path of bhakti. And each and every one of you, please recite this Narsimha prayers at least once a day. This Mangala Charan and Narsimha prayers, they are very potent and they help us in becoming firm in our devotion. Okay, right now we are more like a creeper. The creeper, little frail. So sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go well. So, but for us to become firm, we need to take shelter. And here, Prabhupada has given this beautiful Narsimha prayers at the end of each and every arti in ISKCON. This particular prayer is sung so that, the devotion is being protected. Okay, so please, it only takes 2-3 minutes to do the Narsimha prayers. And Narsimha prayers are very powerful, even just stepping out of the home. Please recite the Narsimha prayers. If not this so big, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukam Narsimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Mrityor Namamyaham. Narsimha gives us protection while going in the road, while going everywhere, because everywhere there is lot of danger. Padam Padami Vipadamna Tesham. So by taking shelter of Narsimha, we can, be safe in the roads, wherever we go.
Can you just post this
Yes,
slokam in the
Mataji,
group?
I'll do that. I did it during some time back, but I will again do that. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvato Mukam Narsimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Namamyaham. It's just a small sloka, but very, very powerful sloka for us to give protection. We need protection. To do devotion also, we need protection. Without protection, we cannot do that. So the entire, the devotional service is fully based on humility, on how do we surrender, how do we do that. There's no tinge of our own ego, isn't Mataji? Even if we are able to do, we think that we are doing because of the mercy of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. That should be always our attitude. With this attitude, we can all advance in devotional service. Okay, Mataji. So, Vancha Kalpata Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhupayeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. So please keep chanting your 16 rounds. Read
Ji.
the books of Srila Prabhupada. Even the
Ji.
same first chapter we have done till sloka number now 43, 42. Yeah.
Two.
So keep reading again and again. So the first chapter becomes very, very nice. So in future, you also can become preachers. You can also give this Bhagavad Gita classes to others. That should be our goal. Whenever we are reading, we should think, how can I give this to others? So take proper notes, read yourself, imbibe yourself nicely. So each and everybody is in a position to give this knowledge to others. Because if you're presenting the knowledge in such a way that people who do not have much faith, they might also take it by seeing the change in you and by understanding, because ignorance is the cause of all the suffering. We suffer because of ignorance. We don't need to take repeated birth and death, but because we are ignorant of it, we are suffering life after life. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja
Govindam Bhaja
Mudamate. What did Shankaracharya said? You're a fool. Muda, if you're not surrendering to Govinda, you are a Muda. You're a fool. He said your grammar will not help you. Your wealth will not help you. Your wife will not help you. Nobody will help you. Only Govinda can help you. So we should take shelter of Krishna in each and every activity that we do, so that we do not know when our last breath is going to be. Parikshit Maharaj knew he is going to live for 7 days. But do we know how long we are going to live? No. So we have to live in such a way that any moment the
We
death
remember.
can come. So we should always be in remembrance of Krishna. Ante Narayana Smriti. So by then, we are sure to be transferred to the Vaikuntha planet or Goloka Vrindavan, based on whatever our worship is there. So one of these places we can go and we can be eternally associated with Krishna. And when you're going, your family is getting benefited. You are delivering your forefathers, you're delivering your children. So which is a real welfare activity? This is a real welfare activity, correct? So externally, we may serve our family, which is also needed. But by serving them through devotion, you are giving them the highest benefit of being born in your womb. By you taking up the devotional service also, you're delivering them, even if they do not take it up for themselves. But someday or the other, they will become a devotee soon in some lifetimes, and they will also get delivered because of they are being in your association and your thing. Okay, Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Everything clear, Prabhuji? Any questions by you?
No, no, Mataji. Fine.
I know there was some gap, but are you able to follow whatever we are doing right now, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Okay. As
I'll
I
pick up.
said, we are still in the first chapter. We have not gone very far.
Yeah.
Actual teaching of Bhagavad Gita starts in the second chapter, but because Prabhupada has given a beautiful purport insisting on the subject matters of moksha and devotion. So we are doing that because by doing like this, we see that many of the devotees here, they are already chanting their 16 rounds, they are offering bhoga, because the ultimate aim is to becoming a servant of Krishna. Sarvadharman parityacha mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masuja. That's what Krishna tells us to surrender. So that surrender process, the sooner we get, more peaceful and happy is our life now, and we will not be taking birth anymore. So this will be our last birth in this material world, and we can be eternally be in the pastimes of Krishna in a very happy mood, for which we are all longing for.
Yeah.
Everything in the material world we do because we just want to be happy. But here we don't get. That's what one of the slokas Arjuna was said, Nimittani Viparitani. We are expecting one thing and we are doing, and what happens is exactly opposite, which we have seen in many of our material endeavors. We start many projects thinking that it is going to be successful. But what happens is exactly opposite. That is the nature of the material world. But in spiritual world, in devotional service, everything is successful. Every small service that we do to Krishna, Krishna writes in his diary. Nothing is being neglected by Krishna. Even hearing this class, that is also you're in the good books of Krishna. Reading Bhagavad Gita, you're in good books of Krishna. Chanting, every activity, small or big, Krishna records it.
Yeah.
And he's waiting to take us back. He's always waiting. When will the Jiva look towards me? He's in our heart waiting. Will the Jiva turn towards me? But we are not turning towards him because we are very busy in our material pursuits.
Correct.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.